Congrats on your film. And my first question: what is the most rewarding part of this experience making the film?
I mean, this film I only had a pretty small part in, but I'm definitely, like I was saying to them, I think there's something that's difficult to describe about what it is that Richard does, and I think from what I've gathered, this film is kind of an exploration of that and his kind of method, and so I definitely, hopefully, I think I'll take inspiration away from it, and hopefully other people will too.
What have you learned from Richard on staying true to yourself?
So much. I mean, he's kind of like the champion of personal integrity in a world that has a tendency to be severely lacking. So I mean, just that, just to, like you said, just stay true and just value personal connection and interaction over anything else. That's what it's all about. It's like that. Rick makes movies, to communicate, and that's it. That's the whole point. It's not for anything else other than to have a conversation with an audience.
Are there any other South by films you're looking forward to?
The only one that comes to mind right now is Hardcore Henry. I promise there are other ones, but I really want to see Hardcore Henry.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. You can do a good job at. And you say yes, that opens doors, which open more doors,
Okay.
and you say no.
So, what inspired you to tell Rick's story?
I worked for a series called American Masters, which is on public television here in this country, and I was always very, I've done arts and culture biography for years, and I moved here to Austin in 2001, just about. And, of course, naturally, as a producer, I was looking around thinking, who could I do, and immediately settled on Richard Linklater. I knew he wasn't, like, the easiest person to get on camera for anything, but I thought it would be an interesting way and sort of emblematic way of telling a larger story about Austin as this kind of jewel, in the center of Texas, And so I was always toss that around in the back of my head, and I pitched it, a variety of different times to people in New York and in Los Angeles. And it wasn't until before midnight there was a little bit of interest, but it wasn't until Boyhood absolutely hit that people were like, oh yeah, Richard Linklater, right? Like bing, 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 bing. And so then I knew. And so I approached Michael Cantor, who at that point taken over the series, and I said, do you think you might do this? We'll raise the money, and that's the rest is history. Yeah.
What do you think separates Richard from other directors, and how do you think he's managed to stay true to his vision?
I think he has this unerring, versatile spirit. He doesn't, and he's kind of fearless in that way. I mean, I don't know him well enough to know whether maybe he wakes up in the middle of the night and panics, but for the most part, he thinks, he's watched as many documentaries as I have, so he thinks, okay, well, maybe I'll incorporate documentary elements or animation elements. He doesn't worry about that. He doesn't think, oh my God, nobody's going to see this film. He's the last person to care about that, and that's what I think I'm most admirous of. So, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.